I hear water running behind the closed bathroom door. A steady sound, rhythmic, like small waves lapping against a silent dock. In my mind, I see foam crests on a midnight beach, and I remember a different time. My son's excited laughter as he dipped his toes into the ocean for the first time. That boyish squeal of wonder still echoes when I recall that day. It was years ago, back when I thought life's biggest challenge was deciding where to take him for ice cream after our trip to the shore. I lost him, lost custody, lost the relationship, lost it all, long before Sarah entered my life. But there are moments, especially in hushed spaces, when I remember. I stand by the bathroom door now, listening to the water, and 1,000 memories crowd my mind. The brightness in my son's eyes, the smell of sunscreen on his skin, the way he grasped my hand the moment a wave touched his ankles. But that was another life, far removed from the man I became. The house is different now. Sarah is different. The door opens, and she emerges from the steam, hair wet, shoulders damp. She's wearing someone else's t-shirt, not mine. It's a size too large, the sleeves nearly swallowing her forearms. She looks up at me, eyes startled. I say nothing. I just watch her move. She mumbles, "Couldn't sleep, so I took a shower." Her voice is calm, but there's a flicker in her eyes, a flicker I've seen in countless business negotiations. Fear of being exposed. Sarah tries to slip past, but I step aside only half a second too late, just enough to see if she flinches. She doesn't, not outwardly. Yet something about the tension in her arms, the stiffness in her neck, reeks of guilt. I sense I'll find fresh footprints on the bathroom rug, ones not matching the size of her feet. But I keep my silence. In the stillness, I hear water dripping from the faucet. A persistent drip, 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 just like the pain in my chest. Slow, steady, hollow. I used to think I knew her better than anyone else. 14 years of marriage should mean something. She was the one who found me, broken as I was, still reeling from losing my boy. She coaxed me into believing I could build a life again, helped me find a job that matched my business degree. And for a long while, we lived in a comfortable bubble of routine. We didn't have children. She wanted to focus on her career, editing manuscripts for some local publishing house. At first, I agreed it was best. Less baggage, less chance of heartbreak. And I told myself the hollowness in my chest would heal if I just poured enough love into her. I was wrong. I quietly walk to the sink and turn off the dripping faucet. Sarah stands behind me, hugging herself. There's no warmth in her eyes. Or perhaps I'd lost the ability to see it. "Go back to bed," I say, my voice tight but low, carefully measured. She nods, steps away, water droplets glistening on her bare legs. The t-shirt flutters around her hips. I notice the brand label at the collar, some pricey streetwear name. Not mine. Definitely not mine. I inhale, counting to 3, then to 5. My father once told me that calmness can be more frightening than rage. The quiet man is the one to watch, he'd say. If he's not yelling, he's thinking. I'm not yelling. I'm thinking. I hear the bedroom door close. She's gone, leaving a subtle trace of steam and dampness in the air. In the bathroom mirror, my reflection stares back. A 42-year-old guy with a faint scar above his left eyebrow, hair starting to show threads of gray. I look tired. I stare at the water droplets on the mirror, each droplet slowly descending, blurring my face. I decide not to confront her now. Not yet. I want the pieces in place, like a surgeon planning each incision before he cuts. This is the only way I can keep from exploding. Scene. Living room. Late morning, the sun's up. A soft gray light spreads across the carpet as I set my mug of coffee on the side table. Outside, Buddy, my golden retriever, trots along the fence line, chasing after a stray squirrel. Through the window, I see him hopping in excitement. Watching him almost brings a faint smile to my face. But I can't relax. Sarah's in the kitchen, rummaging noisily through cabinets for a pot, or maybe a spoon. I sense she wants me to hear her. She can't stand the silence. She emerges with 2 plates, slides them onto the dining table. Hungry. I glance her way. Not really. She sighs, looking disappointed. It's oatmeal, she explains, though I didn't ask. Figured we could eat something warm. I nod but make no move to join her. The space between us feels heavy. She sits across from me, stirring her spoon in slow circles. David, she begins, I feel like we haven't been talking much lately. It's a practiced line, carefully delivered. I can see she's testing the waters, gauging how much I know. My mind flickers back to the bathroom last night, and the t-shirt. Maybe there isn't much to say. She flinches at my tone. My calmness always unnerves her. She casts her gaze toward the living room, where the TV is muted. The local news station runs footage of a weathered pier battered by waves. It's reminiscent of the place where I used to take my son to fish, back in Columbus. I exhale, pushing the memory aside. She tries again. Work's been busy for me. I'm behind on deadlines. How about you? Everything good at the office? I hear her voice tremble slightly. She's forcing normalcy. Everything's normal, I reply, my voice flat. And that's the truth. My routine, numbers, sales calls, negotiations, carries on as if nothing in my personal life is unraveling. As if the world stands in place. It's only at home that I feel the shift. Her phone buzzes on the kitchen counter. We both glance at it. She doesn't move to pick it up. A muscle in her jaw tightens. She looks at me, then back at the phone. You should answer, I say. It's just a notification. Probably a reminder for a meeting. She makes no move to check it, though. We stare at each other for one breath, too. It's a standoff. I lift my coffee to my lips, let the bitterness fill my mouth. Then I set it down quietly and walk away without another word. Her phone buzzes again. I wonder if she's praying I don't notice. But I do. I notice everything. Scene. Garage, early afternoon. There's solace in tasks, especially mechanical ones. I'm reorganizing some tools on the garage shelves, wiping away dust. The overhead lamp hums. My golden retriever sits in the corner, wagging his tail, watching me with curious eyes. As I sort through old boxes, I pull out items we haven't touched in years. Holiday decorations, some old trophies from my college days, and a stack of photo albums. Among them, I spot an album I haven't opened in a decade. It's labeled with my son's name. The binding is worn. My gut clenches. I flip it open to see snapshots of a smaller me, hair darker, grin more genuine, next to a boy wearing bright orange trunks, saltwater droplets sparkling on his skin. The day at the beach. My mind replays the sound of his laughter. I run my fingertips over the photograph. The memory threatens to overwhelm me. The way I lost him because I was too busy forging a life that I thought would sustain us. Circumstances and legal battles ended with him living across the country with his mother. I got postcards, phone calls, a few visits. Then, quietly, the visits stopped. My father died. I sank into depression. And I let everything slip. Sarah was the one who found me in that hollow state. She offered comfort, promise, a sense of belonging. For a while, I thought she saved me. Now that gratitude has turned into a lead weight in my gut. Maybe she was just passing through my life. Maybe it was never meant to be forever. Pushing aside the album, I notice an old ring I'd stashed away. A ring my father once planned to give me to pass on to a future son. But that future never arrived. I stare at the ring, gold with an inscription. My father was big on inscriptions. I can't read it in this dim garage light, but I recall the words. To new beginnings. My jaw clenches. I put the ring back in its box, tuck it away in the corner of the shelf. There's another ring in my mind, though. The one in the wall. The one that doesn't belong to me. A sudden noise distracts me. The crunch of gravel in the driveway. Through the garage window, I see Sarah stepping out of our car, phone pressed to her ear, speaking quietly, tension all over her body. She glances at the house, as though worried I might be watching. Then she catches sight of me through the window. She stiffens, ends the call abruptly, and hurries inside. She's hiding something. But I won't explode. I'll dissect, piece by piece, until her entire web of lies unravels. Scene: master bedroom. Late-night darkness envelops the room. The bedside lamp casts a dull glow over Sarah's side of the bed. She's asleep, or pretending to be. I stand at the mirror, adjusting a tie I plan to wear tomorrow. My hands move automatically, tightening the knot the way I was taught, but my gaze remains on her reflection. She's lying on her side, face half buried in the pillow. Her hair fans out across the sheets, and there's a kind of fragile grace to her posture. Part of me hates her for what she's done, or is still doing. Another part remembers the nights she held me when I woke from nightmares about losing my son. But I steel myself. Anger, coiled tight in my gut, demands a plan. I step out of the bedroom and make my way down the hallway, heading toward the guest room. The wall there has a small crack, a hairline fracture. That's where I found the ring, pressed into the space. The ring she must have hidden, or maybe he hid it, the lover. I reach out and trace the crack with my fingertip. The memory flashes. A week ago, I leaned down to pick up a dropped sock and noticed something glinting in the wall. Carefully, I pried the ring free. It was a man's ring, too large for her. A subtle inscription on the inside read E.P. Ethan Brooks. I recognized the name from a quick glance at her phone one night. A repeated contact she never mentioned. I pushed the ring back into the crack, leaving it as I found it. Let it stay there, a silent witness to her betrayal. Let her think I never noticed. Walking away, I drift back to the living room, sit on the couch, and stare at the darkness outside. The reflection of my own face hovers on the windowpane. I look calm, but inside, my blood simmers. Scene: kitchen. Next morning, Sarah stands at the counter, phone pressed to her ear. I'm behind her, observing. She doesn't realize I've come downstairs. Her voice is hushed. No, last time you said. She stops abruptly, listening, tension in her shoulders. Tomorrow. I don't know if I can get away. Yes, I'll try. You just have to promise it'll be quick. She hears my footsteps and whirls around, foam slipping into her pocket so fast it's almost comedic. Her face is pale, lips parted. Morning, she manages. I say nothing, heading straight for the coffee maker. The hush between us is suffocating. She tries to greet me with a small, nervous smile, but I ignore it, focusing on the coffee. My movements are precise, methodical, like a surgeon preparing instruments. If she were to look me in the eye, she'd see the scalpel in my gaze. She clears her throat. I might have a business meeting tomorrow, out of town. Editing gig. I set my mug down, letting the echo ring out. Which publisher? She stares at me, her lips twitching. She's never lied about her job before. She must realize I'm testing her. It's a new client. A friend introduced me. I'll explain later. I nod, feigning disinterest. Sure. The tension thickens. Buddy the dog wanders in, sensing the unease, and nuzzles against my leg. I pet him absently, all the while watching Sarah's every reaction. She tries to act normal, but her breath is shallow, her face flushed. A phone call, a secret meeting, a name she won't mention. And so the cracks widen. Scene: David's office. Afternoon, I'm on a conference call discussing quarterly sales projections. My mind, however, drifts to the email I received moments ago. Some financial statements from the credit card we share. There's a charge from a boutique hotel near the coast, a place we've never stayed. The date lines up with her supposed writers' conference 2 weeks ago. Another piece of evidence. I switch focus back to the conference call, respond to a question from my colleague. My voice remains steady, professional. This is the last corner of my life that still feels normal. I can't let them hear the strain. The moment I hang up, my phone buzzes with a text from my older sister. Mom wants to know if you're coming for dinner Sunday. I type a quick reply, forcing my mind to calm. Yes, I'll be there. Family gatherings. Once upon a time, Sarah and I attended them together, laughed at my sister's jokes, helped my mother with the dishes. Now, the mere thought of smiling for them while my marriage is in tatters makes me nauseous. But I can't just vanish from my own family. After losing my father, I promised I'd be there for my mother. I push the phone aside and stare at the spreadsheets on my computer. Numbers, at least, don't lie. Scene. Evening. The discovery Sarah claimed she'd go shopping. That was 2 hours ago. She's still gone. I walk into the hallway, noticing the door to the guest room is ajar. A faint perfume lingers in the air, one she only wears on special occasions. Something is off. I slip inside, scanning the space. The bed is neatly made, but there's a corner of the sheets that looks disturbed. It's subtle. My years in sales taught me to see subtle signs. A slight shift in the comforter, a pillow angled differently. I kneel, pressing a hand to the mattress. It's warm. My heart beats louder, my chest tightening. Slowly, I stand and survey the room like a camera panning across a film set. And then I see it. The closet door is cracked open. From inside, I catch a glimpse of a shirt sleeve. My shirt. No. I reach in, touch the fabric. It's a button-down. Men's large, not my style. A wave of cold fury washes over me. A silent quake that starts in my gut and radiates outward. My lips press into a thin line. I can picture them in here. Did he slip in quietly while I was out back with the dog? Or while I was just in the garage? The water in the bathroom last night. The phone calls. The t-shirt that wasn't mine. All culminating in this moment. I closed the closet door carefully, focusing on my breathing. This is not the time to shout or break things. That's not who I am. I'm the man who collects data, who weighs every detail. Then I'll slice them open with surgical precision. Scene. Midnight confrontation. Flashback. I remember last week, about 4 nights ago, lying awake at 2 in the morning. I'd heard the sound of movement in the hallway. Sarah tiptoed downstairs, phone in hand. I followed at a distance, watching as she stepped out onto the back porch. The overhead light cast her silhouette onto the lawn. She spoke softly, but the hush of the night carried her words. Yes, Ethan. Yes, I just need more time. I can't leave without a plan. I stood there, hidden by the darkness, every muscle in my body quivering with tension. The name, Ethan. The ring with the initials EB, my fists clenched, but I didn't confront her then. I needed more proof, more clarity. Scene. Next morning, logical trap Sarah sits at the dining table, nibbling on toast. I step in with a stack of mail, thumbing through bills. I set an envelope in front of her. This one's for you, I say. She picks it up, absent-mindedly checking the return address. Bank statement. I watch her face as she opens it. The color drains from her cheeks. She flips past pages quickly, anxious. She sets it aside. I pretend not to notice. Instead, I mention, I thought you were traveling for that new editorial client soon. She stiffens. Actually, I'm leaving this afternoon. Short trip. Be back tomorrow night. I lift an eyebrow. That's fast. She shrugs, avoiding my gaze. Tight deadlines. I nod, sip my coffee. Which city are you going to? She fumbles. Well, it's not really a city. More like a small town by the sea. Name. I ask gently, leaning forward as though merely curious. She bites her lower lip. I can't remember exactly. Honestly, I just got the details. I'll have to check my GPS later. I let the silence hang. Then I calmly reply, sure. Must be a brand new client. The logic trap is set. I watch her mental wheels spin. She's lying, but doesn't even know how to fill the gaps in her story. I wonder if she can hear my heart pounding with cold anger, or if she only sees my impassive face. Scene. Sarah leaves, The stakeout that afternoon. Sarah rolls a small suitcase to the door, glancing at me. "I'll call you when I get there," she says in a quiet tone. I walk over, place a hand on the handle of her suitcase. She tenses. Our eyes lock. "Have a safe trip," I say, voice low. She hesitates, as though waiting for me to question her further, to demand answers. But I don't. I step aside, letting her go. She lowers her gaze and slips out the door. Moments later, I hear the car engine start, the tires crunching on gravel as she pulls away. Without wasting a second, I grab my keys, slip into my own car, and follow at a discreet distance. Sure enough, she heads south, toward a coastal route. After about an hour on the highway, she exits near a motel overlooking the ocean. I park far enough away so she won't notice me. My chest is tight with anticipation. My father once told me war is fought in the mind before it's ever fought in the field. I'm waging a war now, silent, methodical. I watch from behind tinted windows as she steps out of her car. And there he is, Ethan Brooks, tall, lean, with a confident stride that I can spot even from this distance. He wraps his arms around her. The way she clings to him, it's all I need to see. My stomach lurches, but I force my breath to remain steady. They speak briefly, then walk arm in arm toward the motel room. The door closes behind them. My hands grip the steering wheel so tightly my knuckles turn white. I imagine bursting in there, confronting them in a blaze of rage. But that's not how I operate. Not anymore. I remember my son's curious eyes, the promise I made to myself to always act with calm resolve. It's that memory that keeps me from slamming on the gas and storming inside. So I wait. Minutes crawl by. The seagulls overhead squawk, and waves crash gently in the distance. My phone sits on the passenger seat, but I don't use it. I don't even know who I would call. For a moment, I think of calling my mother, feeling her gentle reassurance. But I can't drag her into this. 2 hours later, the door opens. Ethan steps out first, tucking in his shirt. Sarah follows, smoothing her hair. The sight slices through me. It's not just an affair of the heart, it's physical too. I see the flush in her cheeks, the slight tremor in her hands. They share a quick, tender kiss. She touches his face. I swallow the lump in my throat. This is real, and it's vile. The desire for vengeance flares in my chest like a brand. Yet I remain silent, merging deeper into the car seat, letting them remain blissfully unaware that I see everything. Scene. Return home. Tension builds. Sarah returns late the next evening. Exactly as she said she would. I'm sitting in the living room when she walks in. She tries to greet me with a fragile smile, but I turn away, focusing on the muted television. The news is on. Some story about a local fisherman who caught an enormous tuna. My mind flickers to the time I taught my son to bait a hook. "Hey," she says, her voice trembling. I'm back. I nod. "Good. How was your day?" She's grasping for normalcy. "Fine," I answer quietly. "Your meeting go well?" She forces a smile. "Yes, it was productive." The lie sits between us, pulsing like a wounded animal. She sets her suitcase by the door, exhales in obvious relief that I'm not pressing her. I can see she's unnerved by my calm. The man she once knew would have demanded explanations. But I'm not him anymore. Scene. A quiet evening. Erosion. She disappears into the shower, and I hear the water running again. I remain on the couch, staring at my reflection in the black TV screen. Beneath my calm exterior, something primal roars. My son's voice echoes in my memory. "Dad, can we stay longer?" I love the waves. I always said yes, determined to be the father I never had. That's what hurts the most. I once lost everything because I didn't fight hard enough. Now, I'm losing Sarah because she found excitement in another man's arms. My hands tighten on the couch cushions. Eventually, she emerges from the shower, looking weary. She crosses the living room, still in that other man's t-shirt. This time, I don't bother hiding my stare. She catches me looking, then glances down at the logo on her chest. Her cheeks flush, but she pretends not to notice. Scene: the dinner trap. 2 days later, we head to my mother's house for dinner. Sarah is quiet during the drive. Usually, she chats about work or plays music. Now, the silence is stifling. I sense her gaze flicker to me every so often. She's checking for cracks in my calm facade. I keep my eyes on the road, knuckles pale on the steering wheel. At the house, my mother greets us warmly, hugging Sarah. My sister arrives soon after, making small talk in the living room. I do my best to answer their questions about work, politely ignoring Sarah's forced smiles. She tries to engage in conversation, but the tension between us is almost visible. If anyone else notices, they say nothing. Midway through dinner, Sarah excuses herself, heading into the hallway to make a phone call. I follow quietly, stepping close enough to hear her hushed voice. "I told you I can't stay long." "No, not tonight," she whispers, her back turned to me. "Ethan, please, stop calling me like this. I'm with David at his family's place." A surge of rage climbs my spine, but I stay silent, stepping back into the dining room before she sees me. My sister glances up, notices my clenched jaw. "Everything okay?" she asks softly. I force a nod, not trusting my voice to remain steady. She eyes me curiously but doesn't pry. My mother, busy with a pot of coffee, seems oblivious. Sarah returns a moment later, face pale, forcing a bright smile. No one else notices the trembling in her hands. But I do. I'm done collecting pieces. I have all the proof I need. Scene: the confrontation at home. Late that night, once we're back, I find Sarah in the kitchen. She's standing by the sink, staring out the window as if searching for an escape. I step in, close the door behind me. My heart pounds, but my voice is deliberately calm. "We need to talk," I say. She looks at me, her eyes wide. "About what?" I tilt my head, letting a thin, humorless smile form. "Don't insult me, Sarah. You know exactly what." She sets her glass on the counter, fingertips trembling. "David, I raise a hand, a silent command for her to stop talking. She looks startled. I continue, stepping forward, each word razor sharp. "Your editing trips, your phone calls, the hotel charges, and that t-shirt you wear when you think I'm not paying attention." Her lip quivers. "It's not." "Don't," I say softly. She falls silent. I know his name. Ethan Brooks. Her eyes snap to mine. Then her gaze drops to the floor. She looks cornered, trapped. I keep going. "You hid his ring in the wall. You had the nerve to wear his clothes under our roof. You lied, every time, about where you were. You think I didn't notice." Her breath hitches. "I'm sorry," she whispers, tears welling up. "I never wanted." I take a step closer, so we're almost nose to nose. She smells of soap and anxiety. "Don't tell me what you wanted. Tell me why." Tears slip down her cheeks. She tries to wipe them away angrily. "It wasn't supposed to happen. He was exciting, different. I felt alive around him." Something in me twists. The rage is near boiling, but I lock it down, keep it contained behind a calm veneer. "Alive. So I guess I'm dead to you," she sobs, a small, muffled sound. Her shoulders shake. I stand there, arms rigid at my sides, fists clenched. Part of me wants to hold her, an instinct from better times, but I crush that impulse. "I never meant to hurt you," she says, her voice cracking. "I just needed to feel something. And I couldn't." "Stop." My voice is so cold, she recoils. "I gave you everything. I believed in you when you said you wanted time to grow your career. I gave up on having more children because you claimed it was best for us. I forgave every distant glance, every late night. And this is how you repay me." She can barely look at me. "I'm sorry," she repeats, a useless phrase. I stare at her bowed head, my pulse roaring in my ears. In a clipped, precise tone, I say, "Then it's over. You'll pack your things. You'll leave." She looks up, eyes wide. "David, get out," I say, "or I will." A tremor passes through her. She nods slowly, tears glistening on her cheeks. Without another word, she leaves the kitchen, hurrying upstairs. I remain there, arms trembling with suppressed fury, staring at the reflection of the man I've become in the dark kitchen window. Scene: the night he appears, I sleep in the guest room. Well, I lie there, awake, my mind swirling. Around 2 a.m., I hear a soft noise at the front door. Then, voices. Quiet, urgent. I slip into the hallway, heart pounding. The front door is ajar, letting in a slice of moonlight. And I see them, Sarah and Ethan, whispering in the entryway. She must have called him, or he decided to swoop in and help her gather her belongings. Either way, my blood runs cold. He's tall, slightly stocky, wearing a fitted jacket. He looks younger than me by a couple of years, hairstyled in that trendy undercut. A wave tattoo peeks out from under his sleeve, matching the ring I found in the wall. My jaw tightens. I step forward, letting the floor creak beneath my weight. They both turn, startled. Sarah's eyes are red from crying. Ethan's stance shifts to one of guarded defensiveness. He likely expects me to attack. I don't. I remain cold, calm, each breath measured. "David," Sarah stammers. I was just. I hold up a hand. "Quiet." Ethan takes a step, half blocking Sarah. "I'm not here to fight," he says, voice low. I regard him with an unreadable expression. "Good. Because you wouldn't stand a chance." He clenches his jaw. I can see the flicker of anger in his eyes. But he doesn't speak. Sarah tries to intervene, stepping forward. "David, please." I pivot my gaze to her. "Pack your things and leave." Her breath catches. Slowly, she turns toward the stairs, ascending them with heavy steps. That leaves me with Ethan, in the moonlit silence of the hallway. We size each other up like two animals circling a kill. He exhales, tension rolling off him. "Look, man, I get it. You're angry." I step closer until we're just a foot apart. He's forced to look me in the eye. "You think you understand. You have no idea." He shifts uncomfortably. "Sarah said you two were drifting apart." She said. My glare cuts him off. "Your name is on the ring I found in my wall. Your clothes are in my closet. Your fingerprints are all over my wife. Don't justify it. Don't try to wrap it in a pretty story about how we drifted apart." He opens his mouth, then closes it, apparently realizing there's no excuse that could possibly satisfy me. Finally, he swallows. "I'll help her move out. Then we'll be gone." I nod curtly, stepping back. "That's exactly what you'll do." Inside me, a swirl of memories. My child's bright smile, the night Sarah and I laughed together, all crashing together in an acid pit of despair. This is the moment I should feel a sense of triumph, perhaps, from reclaiming my home. But I feel nothing but a hollow ache, like a wound that won't stop bleeding. Scene: the farewell, Sarah's departure. By dawn, Sarah has 2 suitcases packed and a duffel bag slung over her shoulder. Ethan hovers behind, reluctant to look at me. I watch them from the top of the stairs, arms crossed over my chest. The dog, Buddy, stands beside me, sensing the tension, whining softly. Sarah meets my gaze one last time, her eyes brimming with tears. "David, I'm so sorry," she whispers. "For everything." I stare at her, my face unreadable. Inside, I feel the rage and heartbreak warring for dominance, but I've perfected my cold calm. "Take care," I say. A sob escapes her lips, but she turns away, heading out the door. Ethan gives me a quick glance, whether it's guilt or pity. I can't be sure. Then he follows her out. The door closes, the latch clicking with a hollow echo. And just like that, she's gone. Scene: Aftermath. The ring. The house is still, eerily quiet. I wander into the guest room, noticing the crack in the wall. Slowly, I reach in, retrieve his ring. My heart pounds as I hold it up to the light. The initials EB reflect back at me. Every muscle in my body tenses. This is where the desire for revenge morphs into a plan. I take the ring with me to the living room, retrieve a small hammer from the garage. In a few short strikes, I smash the ring into a warped hunk of metal. Then I drive back to the crack in the wall, press the twisted remains inside, and cover the crack with spackle. There, it's entombed in the very house they defiled. A piece of him locked away, hidden, a testament to what they did. My father once said a man must face demons or risk being consumed by them. I face mine head-on now, burying them in plaster. But burying a demon doesn't kill it. Scene. The next day, meeting a lawyer, I sit across a polished wooden desk from my lawyer, a friend of my late father. He's in his 60s, tie slightly askew. He looks concerned. "Divorce is never pleasant, David," he says gently. I nod, expression flat. "I want to do this quietly, discreetly. She can keep whatever. I don't care." He arches an eyebrow. "Are you sure? Normally, men in your position might." "She's not fighting. She wants out, so let's make it simple." He gives me a long look, as though searching for any trace of bitterness or heartbreak. I remain stoic, letting that coldness keep me together. "All right, we'll draw up the papers. If she agrees, it can be done amicably." Amicably. That word churns in my gut. Is there any such thing as an amicable end to a marriage built on lies? Scene. The encounter. A week later, I'm walking Buddy in the park, a place with winding trails and a small lake. The leaves are starting to change, painting the scenery with red and gold. Buddy tugs at the leash, chasing the scent of squirrels. I let him lead, my mind drifting. My phone buzzes in my pocket. I glance at the screen. Sarah's name. I let it ring, then watch it go to voicemail. I'm not ready to talk. She calls again. I sigh and answer, bracing myself. Her voice is hesitant. "David?" "Yes. I'm staying at a motel until I can find something permanent," she says. I wanted to see if we could talk. I have some of my things still at the house. I keep my voice level. "Is that all you want?" "Your things." A pause. I don't know. I close my eyes, reminding myself to stay calm. "You can pick them up tomorrow. I'll be at work. The key's under the mat." She exhales, a shaky sound. "Okay. Thank you." I hang up, not giving her a chance to say more. Scene. The trap of memory. That night, I dream about my son. We're on the beach, waves rolling in, the sun bright overhead. He laughs, calling to me, urging me to join him. But I'm stuck, feet buried in the sand. He runs ahead, disappears into the surf, and I can't move. I wake in a cold sweat, heart pounding, tears edging my vision. I haven't had that dream in years. Maybe the stress reopened old wounds. I force myself to get up, walk to the window. In the distance, the faint glow of headlights. Sarah. Possibly. She might have come to retrieve her items early, but I don't care. Let her. I'm done. Scene. Climax of vengeance. Days blur into weeks. Papers are filed. She doesn't contest. Ethan is apparently paying for her new place. Through quiet inquiries, I learn they moved into a small apartment near his restaurant in Manhattan. Part of me wants to burn it all down, to show up at his doorstep, lash out, ruin him financially. But I recall my father's words again. Destroying someone else doesn't rebuild you. Yet I can't let go of this haunting ache. At night, I run my fingers along the wall where I sealed his ring inside. I imagine it there, twisted, worthless, like a piece of metal forever stuck in the house I shared with Sarah. One evening, I find myself searching online for Ethan Brooks' restaurant, reading reviews, learning about his background. He's admired by many, a rising star in the culinary scene. The hypocrisy stings. I start drafting a carefully worded email to a local journalist, hinting at health code issues, mismanagement, anything that could spark an investigation. It's petty, but I can't deny how the thought of tarnishing his reputation soothes my anger. But as I hover over the send button, my phone pings with a text from my mother. Saw a lovely photo of you and your boy from years ago. Made me think of you. My finger trembles. I recall the promise I made to myself after losing my son. Never let hatred define you. Slowly, I close the email without sending it, shutting my laptop. My revenge is not going to bring my son back, nor will it heal the pain of losing Sarah. So what's left? Scene. Final showdown. Accidental meeting. A month passes. The divorce is nearly final. One afternoon, after a work meeting in Manhattan, I decide to walk the waterfront. Buddy's with me, tugging at his leash. I hear laughter from a nearby outdoor cafe. Glancing over, my breath catches. There they are, Sarah and Ethan at a table, leaning close, hands briefly touching. I feel the old surge of anger, the heartbreak. Buddy senses my tension, pressing against my leg. I stand there, out of their line of sight, torn between walking away or confronting them. My body hums with adrenaline. I approach, footsteps quiet on the pavement. Suddenly, Ethan spots me. He stiffens, alerting Sarah. She looks over, a flicker of horror in her eyes. I step up to their table, watch them scramble for composure. Hello, I say, my voice low. Ethan tries to respond, but nothing comes out. Sarah stands, stammering, David, we didn't. I lift a hand, meeting Ethan's gaze. You two enjoying yourselves? He exhales, nodding stiffly. We are. Look, we're sorry for everything. I study him for a long moment, then look at Sarah. Her eyes are glassy, regret shining there. I let the silence linger, a surgeon's scalpel slicing open the tension. Finally, I speak, voice controlled. I sealed your ring in my house. I hope it rots there, so you'll never forget what you did. Ethan pales, glancing at Sarah in confusion. She bows her head. Leaning in slightly, I continue. You broke something precious. It won't come back. But I'm done letting it break me. You too. Live your life, do whatever you want. Because I'm going to move on, and you won't matter anymore. I turn on my heel and walk away. Sarah calls my name, voice choked with emotion. But I don't stop. I hold Buddy's leash tight, adrenaline pounding through me. There's a certain bitter satisfaction in seeing their shocked faces, but also an emptiness that lingers. Scene. Epilogue. The final release weeks pass. The divorce becomes official. The house is quiet, but I manage. I keep working, keep jogging in the mornings with Buddy. I spend occasional weekends at the lake, remembering the times with my father, and yes, with my son. My mother invites me over more often, and I accept. My sister jokes that maybe I'll rediscover life's joys now that I'm free. One day, I open the closet in the guest room, rummaging for a box of winter clothes. My gaze lands on the crack in the wall, now hidden by a fresh coat of paint. The ring is still there, behind the plaster. It's my secret triumph, a symbol of my choice to bury the past in the very spot that once betrayed me. I stand up, exhaling slowly. I recall the moment at the beach with my son years ago. He looked at me with unconditional trust. Don't lose yourself, Dad, I imagine him saying, in that small, sweet voice. You're stronger than that. The corners of my mouth twitch into the faintest smile. Maybe I am. I brush my hand against the wall one last time, feeling its smooth surface. In that instant, I realize revenge has tasted bitter, and it's cost me my peace. But maybe, just maybe, there's a path forward. So I gather what's left. My dignity, my memories, my dog at my side. And I walk out into the daylight, ready to shape a future that's solely mine. I'm still alive, and that's enough for now.